Are you wondering what change looks like? What the expression of change is? If you've gone through a big change, or you would like to compare what you've done as well as what somebody else has gone through? These sets of videos are for you, and it even includes the question, is spiritual influence important for our individual and collective development? The channel is still new, it's small, so it's important that we get to know each other, which is why these sets of videos are going to go through my Liubo experiences and life choices through the last 5 years, as well as in this video I'm going to give you the information of what my life looked like before. And so, since it's a change, it's supposed to be a negative side, which is why we're going to hate the past. On a chemical level, right? We don't actually have to hate it, but since there's change, we automatically assume that the past is worse. Meaning negative, whereas the present is better, or the change, the future is better. That's how we usually interpret everything, and that's how we're going to look at my past now. So, I was a control freak. Let's start from there. What I usually did, and this is connected with all my interactions, with everything, with all people, with all objects, it doesn't really matter. All I wanted was peaceful, calm, nothing bothering me kind of life. And I was really irritated. I had a lot of anger inside me. I didn't know what to do, and my focus was on producing my own reasons to live. And while doing that, I actually didn't practice anything. The only thing that I cared about was either watching TV when I was very little because I didn't have a computer, but when I received a computer, I actually just played games. And I didn't care for everybody. My cycle was bed, computer, eating was in front of the computer, so eating we can't put it as a separate activity. So sleeping, computer, bathroom, computer, repeat. And that's it. I didn't care for anybody. I guess my parents were divorced, so I was living only with my mother, which, being the middle man between both my mother and father, made me make some choices that inevitably made me close off a lot. And my decisions led to the fact that I became a control maniac that only wanted to provoke people's bad behavior, make fun of them so that I can feel better, because I actually knew and I was aware of how terrible my life was at that moment, at that point, right? And nobody likes to look at them, and nobody likes to look at his problems if he's not going to do anything while they exist, which is why normally we focus ourselves outwards towards not helping, like we're going to explore in this channel mainly, but actually focusing outwards in the direction of making other people feel bad, worse, beneath us, so that we can feel above them. And that's what I was doing. My choices actually led to cutting myself out of my environment. I hardly made any connections. I had very huge difficulties in making connections, making new friends. I hardly talked. I was kind of the person that would stay in the corner if he had the opportunity. And in some cases, I actually did it. In the gymnasium, instead of, I don't remember what was the case, but I couldn't play, but I was okay enough to hide behind the pole in a corner. And I felt great there. That's the kind of thinking that I had. That was when I was little. When I was big, I was really confident enough to survive everybody's judgment, as well as be free to make fun of everybody that I choose, so that I can make myself feel better. And to be fair, what does that mean? Every time I actually connected with someone, I was either making fun of someone or trying to break them in a way that they would I haven't actually expressed these ideas in English before, so some of the expressions might sound weird. I didn't try to break them, but I always contradicted them, yes. So all of their ideas, they were stupid, impossible, lame. You get the idea. And that was me. And that was even with my closest friends. Why? Because that's the connection that I knew. That was the only way. I don't know. That's the only expected connection that I knew. It could be connected with my mother. I was living with her, and she's a control freak. So, as a child, adapting to its environment, I would adapt her habits, and those habits actually led me to making my relationships with my cousin, with whom we grew together for close to 12 years, to make them terrible, to break them, to... I don't know how to express it. They became really bad because I became really angry with him at one point for something that I did, and then he did the same thing to me, which means that I don't actually liked the person that I was. Think about it. If we do something that we don't like, and then somebody does it to us, do we actually like ourselves for doing that to ourselves, right? Because every action has its own reaction. Newton's law. So just to give you an example of how bad of a person I was, and what I was doing, what my head was thinking, and what direction it was producing all of its connections. With my cousin, even though I started hating him at some point, and I was actually embarrassed to be his cousin, right? So it's a very deep hatred that I amassed in my childhood so that I could use it for something, so that I can feel better, I guess. And in control, because in my next steps after getting angry with him were to try and control him. But we grew together, and we did almost everything together, as well as we continue doing things together. Even after we split up, he went to live with his father and his mother somewhere else. So things only change, but only that we continue to play together on the digital side of our lives, I guess. As well as we went to the same primary school. I think that's what it was called. When we were little, we started the same school. We're only 15 days apart. Our birthdays are only 15 days apart. So we were really close. That's what I want to tell you. And we continued to be, even though I was amassing my hatred and using it in inappropriate ways. And we continued to play together. One of the games was League of Legends, and somewhere in between, okay, maybe not somewhere in between, what I meant was we were playing together, and once I received and we continued to play together, after we split up, and this is the culmination of my stupidity. When I got a new PC, because my first one was very old, it was actually a gift from people that didn't use it, and it was very old, it was very slow. It actually could only download 256 kilobytes per second, whereas the new computer, when I started downloading stuff, I saw that it could download 10 megabytes a second. So that was really a huge difference for me, and I couldn't believe it, and I was so happy, so excited, and I wanted to share that with people. All right, I wanted to share it with my cousin, and yeah, with him, because we were talking on Skype. There was another person, a friend, on the line, and I think we were just going to start playing something after I downloaded. I don't remember what the specific case was, but when I saw that those wonderful news for me, and I wanted to express them, my expression was, oh, 10 megabytes. Joro, that's my cousin's name. Generally, my expression was, I hope you're jealous. So what I said was, oh, 10 megabytes. Joro, I hope you're jealous. And everybody heard me. So my cousin said, okay. And what else could he say? I mean, it was a stupid sentence. The other person on the line, he felt uncomfortable. He didn't say anything, but you could feel it. I felt uncomfortable. My mother heard me. She told me that's wrong. And I knew that it was wrong. But since I was so accustomed to making those kinds of expressions, those kinds of decisions, I couldn't actually produce a positive emotion towards my cousin. Can you imagine how bad I am? And even though this is the first time I actually realized how bad I am, and I thought to myself, okay, change it, say that you didn't mean that, you just wanted to say, oh, I'm so happy, can you imagine? Or something like that. But the thoughts in my head were, oh no, he doesn't deserve that. I'm always supposed to show him how stupid he is. And that's it. That's what actually brought it on. That's what actually happened. And I can hardly believe it myself. To be fair, that specific case was an isolated case. It didn't happen, but it's practically the same with everybody else, right? I didn't really struggle with expressing those kinds of ideas. It was my way of thinking, my way of expression, and my way of life. That's what my decisions were. And also, I reached a point where even the games became so boring to me. The only thing that I liked to play was StarCraft 2, and that's pretty much it. But anytime that my cousin would come to as a guest to our house, to our apartment, and he would give suggestions, I really hated every idea that somebody else could give me. I interpreted it as nagging, and what I would do was stop doing everything and just make boxes on the desktop. That's all I was motivated to do. At other times, I just watched TV shows because they were entertaining and moving me. That's it. They made me think about something, whatever it was happening, and I didn't have to do anything. That's the kind of person I was. Now, if you're wondering what to expect next, we're going to start off with the first steps on the path of change. So stay tuned and look out for the new videos. How can you do that? By subscribing to the channel. You can also click on or tap on the bell so that you can receive notifications when I upload a new video, and we'll see you later.